Welcome back, guys. Merry Christmas. We're going to check back in on these bins here, at least the big red one for now. Going to preface this, apologize if you guys hear some noise in the background. We have a new member of the family. Her name is Maple. She is, hanging out right over here. And then you have Dexter, of course, but she's running wild, so you might hear some squeaks or anything. Let's get this set back up here. Alrighty, checking on the earthworm bin. It is the European night crawlers. Once again, we started with like 7 to 8 pounds in here. There's no set number. Actually, might have been 7 or 8, or sorry, 4 to 5 pounds, about 4. We added some leaf compost about probably another 8 to 10 days ago by now. I can't remember exactly. It is December 26th. I have not done anything to this bin in a while. Actually, I lied. I gave it a little bit of food here, and I mean a minimal amount, probably a tablespoonful earlier today. So I'm going to check on this here. I did find when I left the bin cap totally closed, they would come up on the edge. I don't think there's enough ventilation in here. There is holes along both sides here, but I don't think that's enough for the amount of ammonia and gases that can be produced while this stuff is all breaking down. Especially with the leaf compost, it has higher temperature when it composts versus peat moss or coconut coir, cardboard, things like that. You can see there is part of a pumpkin over here. It's a white pumpkin. We had that from Halloween, and your newspaper on top, which we keep getting in the mail, and I can't get rid of it fast enough. And then this was just a piece of cardboard. Had no ink on it or anything, so I threw it in here. You can see it's starting to break down, just kind of fall apart. It's corrugated. The worms love that sugar inside there. They will crawl in here often if it's wet enough. Same with the original packaging that I used when I brought them back in. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to see if I can zoom in here. Looks like we're working about right here, so I'll try and get some videos of that. Let's see here. So there's actually a great photo right there. If I can back this up, check those guys out. So these night crawlers are munching on that little bit of grain over here. Let's see what else we got in here. So as I move this stuff back, the newspaper is starting to break down. Let me see the best view I can give you here. There, that's a better idea. So remember, we put leaf compost in up to about here. It has shrunk about 3 inches again. I used the top of this edge here to do so. We're gonna end up with sticks and stuff in the end. Here's one over here. I can slowly pick them out and go crazy, or I can just leave them in there and deal with it at the end. But since I already got that one, we'll throw that out in a bit. It's pretty wet over here. I can see there's a couple breeders and stuff. We're starting to get some springtail action, which is fantastic. That's great for compost, and they help out enormously. Just under the surface here, we're about 2 inches or so. We're getting right to the casting level. There is some stuff in there already. I can tell you this temperature is pretty warm. It's probably about 80-ish, no, a little less than that. But there's cocoons going wild. Here's one, here's two. There's a bunch right there. They're nice and bright yellow, so I can tell you that means that they're just laid. As they turn dark orange, like the sunset, the sun when it gets that dark color over the seas, that's when you know they're getting ready to hatch. But we're looking at some castings ready, which is fantastic. I have a massive business plan in my head, which I have to start writing down for me and the guys, and also my office lady, so she knows what to put on our website here, whether she does it or I do it. There's a little bit of grain in here. I don't always mix the grain in like other people do. I think it heats up the bins too much. Watch my hand there, sorry. Maybe I could shrink this down for you guys, show you a little closer. How's that looking? I don't mix the grain in too much. I think it creates too much compost or heat, and sometimes the worms don't like it. You can do a very minimal amount and it might work, but I've always had decent results with top dressing everything. These worms are looking pretty healthy. Here's Here's a good sized night crawler. They can get a little bigger than that if you're really going for size, but that's about your average adult. Let's check these corners down here. You still have some castings. These guys are about thick as a number 2 pencil, maybe a little thinner, but that's about as big as you're gonna get them without really selective breeding and things like that. The bottom here is a little less warm. There's not as much leaf compost down there. The original bedding is kind of gone. Let's see if we can get to the bottom. It needs to be a little moister. I think the leaves are kind of taking over on that. But it's not doing too bad. I am seeing a bunch of cocoons here. I think what I'm gonna do is pull out some adults from here. They have to take the squeaky toys, I'm sorry. Dex, can you pick another toy, please? See how bright that is for you guys there. See if you can zoom in and see some cocoons. Not really, it's a little difficult. Anyway, we're gonna leave this bin as is. Here's just a handful in the corner. These worms are nice and healthy for now. I will try and pull out some breeders, and we're gonna get them. Check this out. Hold on. Oh, they're playing together. He knows she can't get up on the couch. Anyway, back to the worms. We're gonna try and pull out some breeders, probably 100 or so. I'm gonna put them in one of my red worm style bins. This is a 10-gallon bin. I used to use these a long time ago. You know, small side here. I drilled holes in the side. I gotta take all this tape off. I used to use this as my markings. We're gonna put a cap on here. And this line right in here is about 4.5 gallons worth of material. But if I can get this about 3 inches deep here, you can get about 200 earthworms in here, which is about 60 or a little over half a pound, and let them breed. They'll create tons and tons of eggs. I had a system a long time ago, which I will show you guys at some point. Gallon of shredded cardboard, gallon of coconut coir, and top dress it with, what do you call it, some grain, and they'll produce like crazy. You have to use that to get to start creating breeder bins. It was a fantastic system. I've never had anything that worked better. We're gonna possibly start that up again. I used 9-gallon bins. I didn't use that 10-gallon. They had a little more surface area, and I made it 2 inches thick, but we'll get to that point at some point. Anyway, this needs a little bit of moisture, but I do see a ton of moisture on the top here where the leaves are, and it's definitely hotter up here. So I'm actually gonna leave this for now. I'm not gonna add any food today. I want them to start, there's a ton of worms in here, look at that. I want them to start breaking down some of these leaves a little more. The springtails look like they're flying off the walls as they're reproducing. Let me check the other side here. Let's check on these pumpkins, because I think you guys are probably interested in that. Dexter probably is too. No, Dex. Watch out. See if I can get a good view here. Need my makeshift stands. We have to put some hi-hats in here, so excuse the appearance. We're gonna go right there. Oop, that's gonna fall. Phone's gonna fall. I don't do editing if you guys can't tell. Let's get this a little closer. Put this up. I don't know if I broke that. Whoops. We'll figure that out later. Oh gosh, that's terrible. See where that goes if I can screw it. Maybe I'll just hold the phone. Alrighty. Here's the other side of the bin. Back to where we were. Still a little bit of grain in here. See, there's a worm going crazy right there. This side doesn't look as composted, at least not yet. But under these worms, or under this pumpkin, sorry, let's see what we're looking at here. Get out of there, Dex. Come on. It's nice and wet. A couple guys there. Out of the way. You're always in the way when you don't need you to. This one's not doing too much yet. This one's looking a little better. There's a couple breeding right there. I only put these in there. Sorry, that's the other thing I did. I put these in there yesterday, and that's how That's all I've really touched this bin. So we'll check in again in a couple of days on this. I'm gonna put the top on. I just leave it cracked a little bit and see what they're doing. And you have this little stinker over here. Come on out of there. Anyway, I'm about to make another video in just a second on all of our red worm bins here, and check in on that one as well.